But we realized it's much easier if it's just the two of us, because I've known Tom so long and he's known me so long, and we know each other's acts. So he can kind of nudge me in a way to push me to go further. But something that I find funny is I love improvising. I love riffing. I love getting something from the audience and just running with it. And Tom, we joke around, I talk about it on stage. Tom does, he's the anti-improviser. You know, there's yes and, you're supposed to yes and everything. He no buts. But I know that about him, so we have a lot of fun with that. And in every show, because of how my act is as a even solo act, I can't do things the exact same way over and over. I try to incorporate new stories or new ideas within the stories that I've been doing for years, but I'll take a new idea and bring it into it.
So you originally went to acting school, and then you found that the road of stand-up, which is just as painful. How did you, was there an epiphany, like you sat there and you were getting out of acting school and you're like, God, I'm going for an audition for an Oscar Mayer commercial. I mean, how did you end up finding comedy?
So I was in acting school, and it was it's a conservatory, so we were doing acting, 12 hours a day. So I was in school. I really didn't have time to have a job, which meant I accumulated a lot of debt. And, it was really hard. But what I did find is comedy clubs are only open a couple hours a night. In New York City, 7 days a week, but a couple hours a night. So we had a couple girls that were waitresses at the comedy club, and they talked us into coming to a show because Chris Rock was coming in, and they weren't supposed to let anybody know. And so we went and we watched a show, a bunch of actors, we all went up together, and I loved it. And I saw it, and I went over to my friend Kristen, and I said, would they hire me, to work at the club? And she's like, I'm sure they would. And I did every job there. I was a busboy, I cleaned the bathrooms, I answered phones, I was a bartender at one point, I was a waiter, but then they didn't want to fire me because I was a really bad waiter. I was the door guy. And I just started hanging around comics, and I loved it, and I just thought it was so exciting to watch these people come in and working on their acts, and I started taking notes on what was happening.